The gun was cold against my temple. I could smell the leather of his glove, the faint trace of cigarette smoke clinging to his jacket. My knees pressed into broken glass. Blood trickled warm down my shin. The cafe, my cafe, was destroyed. Tables overturned. The espresso machine still hissing like a dying animal. "Where is he?" The man behind me growled in Korean. His accent was sharp, nothing like the soft soul dialect I'd grown used to. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My throat had closed around the truth, because I didn't know where he was. I didn't even know his real name. Last chance, girl. The hammer clicked back, and all I could think about was the way he used to look at me when he thought I wasn't watching. 3 months earlier, it was raining the first time he walked in. Not the romantic kind of rain you see in movies, the cold, angry kind that soaks through your coat and makes your bones ache. I was alone in the cafe, wiping down tables that didn't need wiping, pretending I wasn't counting the hours until I could afford next month's rent. The bell above the door chimed. I looked up. He stood in the doorway, water dripping from the shoulders of a charcoal wool coat that probably cost more than my entire wardrobe. Dark hair slicked back, sharp jawline, eyes like black coffee, bitter, deep, unreadable. He didn't smile. "Americano," he said. His voice was low, controlled. "No sugar." I nodded and turned to the machine, hyper-aware of the silence behind me. Most customers scrolled their phones or made small talk. He just watched. When I set the cup in front of him, our fingers brushed. It lasted half a second, but I felt it in my chest. He left a $20 bill for a $4 coffee and walked out without waiting for change. He came back the next day. Same time. 4:47 p.m. Same order. Same quiet intensity. This time, he sat in the corner booth, the one with the broken spring I kept meaning to fix. He didn't pull out a laptop or a book. He just sat there, hands folded on the table, staring out the rain-streaked window like he was waiting for something, or hiding from it. "Rough day?" I asked when I brought his coffee. His eyes flicked to mine. For a moment, I thought he wouldn't answer. "Every day is rough," he said. It wasn't self-pity. It was fact. I should have walked away. But something about the way he said it, like he was confessing something he shouldn't, made me stay. "Then why come here?" I asked. He looked at me, really looked at me, like he was seeing me for the first time. "Because it's quiet," he said, "and you don't ask questions." I smiled. I just did. The corner of his mouth twitched. Not quite a smile, but close. Fair enough. By the third week, I knew his routine. He arrived at 4:47, ordered an Americano, no sugar, sat in the corner booth, stayed exactly 43 minutes, left at 20. He never told me his name. I started calling him Mr. 447 in my head. Sometimes, when the cafe was empty, I'd catch him watching me. Not in a creepy way, more like he was trying to figure something out. Like I was a puzzle he couldn't solve. One evening, a drunk guy stumbled in, slurring about how I owed him a free coffee because he'd been a loyal customer. I hadn't seen him before in my life. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave," I said, keeping my voice steady even though my hands were shaking. The guy leaned over the counter, his breath sour. "You think you're too good for me, huh?" Before I could step back, Mr. 447 was there. He didn't shout, didn't shove. He just stood between us, one hand resting lightly on the drunk man's shoulder. "She asked you to leave," he said quietly. There was something in his voice, something cold and final, that made the drunk guy's face go pale. He mumbled an apology and stumbled out. I exhaled, my heart still racing. "Thank you," I said. He didn't look at me, just returned to his booth like nothing had happened. But when I brought him a slice of lemon cake, on the house, he looked up, surprised. You didn't have to do that, he said. You didn't have to help me, I replied. He stared at the cake for a long moment. Then he picked up the fork. What's your name? He asked. I blinked. After 3 weeks, he was finally asking. Mina, I said. He nodded slowly, like he was committing it to memory. Mina, he repeated. The way he said it, soft, deliberate, made my stomach flip. And you? I asked. He hesitated. Jihoon, he said. I didn't know it then, but that was the first lie he ever told me. Winter came fast. The cafe's heating broke, and I couldn't afford to fix it. I wore 2 sweaters under my apron and kept a space heater behind the counter. Jihoon noticed. One morning, I arrived to find a brand new industrial heater installed in the corner. No note, no explanation. I knew it was him. You didn't have to do that, I said when he came in that afternoon. You were cold, he said simply. I can't accept this. It's too much. He looked at me with those dark, unreadable eyes. Then don't accept it, he said. It's for the cafe. Not you. But we both knew that was a lie. I started staying later just to talk to him. He never said much about himself. But he listened. Really listened. When I told him about my mom's medical bills, about dropping out of college to keep the cafe afloat, about feeling invisible in a city of 8 million people, he didn't offer empty reassurances. He just nodded. You're not invisible, he said one night. I laughed bitterly. You're the only person who's noticed me in months. Then everyone else is blind. The way he said it, so certain, so quiet, made my throat tighten. Why do you come here, Jihoon? I asked. Really? He was silent for a long time. Because when I'm here, he said finally, I remember what it's like to be human. I didn't understand what he meant. Not yet. Everything changed the night of the snowstorm. The city shut down, no buses, no cabs. I was closing up when I realized I'd have to walk home, 3 miles in knee-deep snow. Jihoon was still in his booth. You should go, I said. I'm closing. He looked out the window at the blizzard. You're walking? He asked. I don't have a choice. He stood. I'll drive you. You don't have to, Mina. The way he said my name stopped me cold. Let me. His car was a black sedan with tinted windows. Sleek. Expensive. The kind of car that didn't belong in my neighborhood. The heat was on full blast. I sank into the leather seat, my fingers tingling as they thawed. Where do you live? He asked. I gave him the address. He didn't put it in a GPS. He just drove, like he already knew. We didn't talk. The only sound was the soft hum of the engine and the snow hitting the windshield. When we pulled up to my building, a crumbling walk-up with a broken buzzer, he put the car in park. Thank you, I said. I reached for the door handle. His hand caught my wrist. Not hard, just enough to stop me. Mina. I turned. His face was inches from mine. I could see the faint scar above his left eyebrow. The tension in his jaw. If anything ever happens, he said quietly, call me. He handed me a card. No name, just a phone number. What do you mean, if anything happens? I asked. He didn't answer, but his eyes said everything. I didn't call him, but I kept the card. I kept it in my apron pocket. And sometimes, when the cafe was empty, I'd take it out and stare at the number. Who was he? Why did he look at me like I was something precious and breakable? And why did I feel safer with him than I'd ever felt with anyone? Then one night, everything shattered. I was closing up late. The street was empty. I locked the door and turned to leave. A black SUV pulled up. 3 men got out. They weren't customers. You're Mina? One of them asked in Korean. My blood went cold. Who's asking? The man smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. Someone who wants to know where Kang Ji-hoon is. Kang Ji-hoon. Not just Ji-hoon. Kang. I knew that name. Everyone in Koreatown knew that name. The Kang family controlled everything. Drugs, gambling, protection. They were ghosts in expensive suits. Untouchable. I don't know who you're talking about, I said. The man stepped closer. Don't lie to us, sweetheart, we've been watching. He comes here every day, sits in your cafe like a lovesick puppy. He tilted his head. So where is he? I don't know. Wrong answer. He nodded to the others. They grabbed me. I screamed. And then, gunshots. The men dropped. I stumbled back, my ears ringing. Ji-hoon stood in the middle of the street, a gun in his hand. But he wasn't the man I knew. This man was cold, controlled, lethal. He walked toward me, his eyes scanning my face, my arms, checking for injuries. Are you hurt? He asked. I couldn't speak. Mina, are you hurt? I shook my head. He exhaled, his shoulders dropping slightly. Then he looked at the bodies on the ground. Get in the car, he said. Ji-hoon, what? Now. I got in the car. He drove in silence. I stared at him, this stranger wearing Ji-hoon's face. Who are you? I whispered. His jaw tightened. You know who I am. No, I don't. He pulled over, turned to face me. My name is Kang Ji-hoon, he said. I run the Kang family. I've killed men. I've destroyed lives. I'm not a good person, Mina. My hands were shaking. Then why? Because you made me want to be. His voice cracked. Every day I walked into your cafe, and for 43 minutes I wasn't a killer. I wasn't a monster. I was just a man who liked his coffee black and his barista's smile. Tears burned my eyes. You lied to me. I did. You put me in danger. I did. Then why didn't you just stay away? He looked at me like I'd just stabbed him. Because I tried, he said hoarsely. I tried, Mina. And I couldn't. He took me to a penthouse across the city. Floor-to-ceiling windows, marble floors, the kind of place I'd only seen in magazines. You'll stay here, he said, until it's safe. Safe from what? From the people who want to use you to get to me. I laughed bitterly. And whose fault is that? He flinched. Mine, he said quietly. All mine. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the balcony, staring at the city lights, trying to process everything. Ji-hoon, Kang Ji-hoon, was a mafia boss. The man who bought me heaters and listened to my problems and looked at me like I was the only person in the world, was a killer. The door slid open behind me. He stood there, his tie loosened, his shirt unbuttoned at the collar. You should rest, he said. I can't. He sat down beside me, not too close, but close enough. I'm sorry, he said. For what? Lying? Or putting a target on my back? Both. I looked at him. Why me, Ji-hoon? You could have anyone. Why a broke barista who can't even afford to fix her heating? He was quiet for a long time. Because you saw me, he said finally. Not Kang Ji-hoon. Not the heir. Not the monster. Just me. My chest ached. I don't know if I can do this, I whispered. I know. I don't know if I can be part of your world. I know. But I don't know if I can walk away either. He turned to me, his eyes raw. Then don't, he said. Not yet. The next morning, I woke to the smell of coffee. Ji-hoon was in the kitchen, making breakfast. It was surreal. A mafia boss, scrambling eggs. You cook? I asked. I survive, he said. I sat at the counter watching him. What happens now? I asked. I find out who sent those men. I make sure they never come near you again. And then? He set a plate in front of me. And then you decide, he said. If you want to walk away, I'll make sure you're safe. New identity, New city. You'll never see me again. My throat tightened. And if I don't want that? He looked at me. Then you stay, he said quietly. And I spend the rest of my life trying to deserve you. I didn't get to answer, because that's when the door exploded inward. Men in masks, guns drawn. Jihoon shoved me behind him. Run, he said. Jihoon, run. I ran. I ran through hallways I didn't know, downstairs I couldn't count, my heart hammering in my chest. I heard gunshots behind me. I heard shouting. And then, silence. I stopped, gasping for air, my hands shaking. A hand grabbed my arm. I screamed. But it wasn't Jihoon. It was a man I'd never seen before. Older. Scarred. Kang Jihoon sends his regards, he said in English. And then, everything went black. When I woke up, I was on my knees, in my cafe, surrounded by broken glass, and a gun pressed to my temple. Where is he? The man growled. I didn't know. I didn't know if Jihoon was alive or dead. I didn't know if he was coming for me. I didn't know anything, except that I loved him, and that might be the thing that kills me. The gun cocked. I closed my eyes, and I heard his voice. Let her go. I looked up. Jihoon stood in the doorway, blood on his shirt, gun in his hand, eyes like death. This is between us, he said to the man behind me. Leave her out of it. The man laughed. You made her part of it the moment you fell in love with her. Jihoon's eyes flicked to mine, and in that moment, I saw the truth. He hadn't just fallen, he'd shattered. Last chance, Jihoon said. His voice was ice. Let her go. The man pressed the gun harder against my head. Or what? Jihoon smiled. It was the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen. Or, I show you why they call me the Devil of Seoul. The Devil of Seoul. I'd heard the name whispered in Koreatown, in the back rooms of restaurants, in the alleys where deals were made and bodies disappeared. They said he was a ghost, a myth, a monster in a tailored suit who could end your life with a phone call. I never believed in devils, until I saw one standing in my cafe, covered in blood, with murder in his eyes. Or I show you why they call me the Devil of Seoul, Jihoon said. His voice was calm, too calm. The man behind me hesitated. I felt the gun tremble against my temple. You're bluffing, the man said, but his voice cracked. Jihoon tilted his head. Am I? He raised his gun. Not at the man holding me. At me. My breath stopped. You want her? Jihoon said softly. Then you'll have to go through her first. The man behind me laughed nervously. You won't shoot her. Everyone knows you're obsessed with this girl. The gunshot was deafening. The bullet grazed my ear and buried itself in the man's shoulder. He screamed and stumbled back, the gun clattering to the floor. I collapsed, my hands flying to my ear. Warm blood trickled down my neck. Jihoon was on him in seconds. I didn't see what happened next. I squeezed my eyes shut, my whole body shaking. But I heard it. The crack of bone, the wet thud of fists meeting flesh. The man's screams turning into whimpers, then silence. When I finally opened my eyes, Jihoon was crouched in front of me. His hands, those hands that had held coffee cups and touched my wrist so gently, were covered in blood. Let me see, he said. I flinched. Mina, let me see. His voice was soft again, human again. I lowered my hands. He examined my ear, his jaw tight. It's just a graze. You'll be okay. You shot at me, I whispered. I shot past you, he corrected. I don't miss. You could have. I didn't. His eyes locked on mine. Dark, certain, unshakable. I will never hurt you, he said, but I will burn this city to the ground before I let anyone else touch you. I should have been terrified. I should have run. but all I felt was the warmth of his hand cupping my face, his thumb brushing away a tear I didn't know I'd shed. "We need to go," he said. "Now." He carried me to the car. I didn't protest. My legs wouldn't work. My mind was static. The cafe, my cafe, was a war zone. Overturned tables, shattered glass, bullet holes in the walls, and bodies. 3 of them. I looked away. Jihoon set me in the passenger seat and buckled me in like I was something fragile. Then he got behind the wheel and drove. "Where are we going?" I asked. "Somewhere safe." "That's not an answer." He glanced at me. "Somewhere they'll never find you." "Who are they, Jihoon?" He was silent. "Tell me," I demanded. My voice was shaking, but I forced it steady. "If I'm going to be hunted like an animal, I deserve to know why." His hands tightened on the wheel. "The Choi family," he said finally. "Rivals. They've been trying to take over my territory for years. When they found out about you..." He exhaled sharply. "They saw an opportunity. To kill me. To use you." I laughed bitterly. "What's the difference?" "The difference," he said, his voice low and dangerous, "is that I won't let them do either." We drove for hours, out of the city, into the mountains. The roads grew narrower, darker, until we finally stopped in front of a cabin hidden deep in the woods. It was small, isolated. The kind of place you'd never find unless you knew it was there. "This is one of my safe houses," Jihoon said as he unlocked the door. "No one knows about it except me." "And now me," I said. He looked at me. "And now you." Inside, the cabin was surprisingly warm. A fire crackled in the stone fireplace. The furniture was simple but clean. Jihoon guided me to the couch and disappeared into the bathroom. He returned with a first aid kit. "Let me clean that," he said, nodding to my ear. I sat still as he dabbed antiseptic on the wound. His touch was gentle, careful. "You're good at this," I said. "I've had practice." "On yourself?" "On people I care about." I looked up at him. "How many people do you care about, Jihoon?" He paused, the cotton swab hovering near my skin. "Not many," he said quietly. "Not anymore." He made tea. It was strange, watching a Mafia boss move around a kitchen, boiling water, setting out cups. "You don't have to take care of me," I said. "I know." "Then why are you?" He set the cup in front of me. "Because I want to." I wrapped my hands around the warmth. "I don't understand you." "Good," he said. "That means you're smart." "Jihoon." "You should hate me, Mina." His voice was raw. "You should be screaming at me, hitting me, demanding I take you home." "I can't go home." "Because of me." "Yes." He looked away. "I'm sorry." "Stop apologizing." "I don't know what else to do." I stood, walked over to him. He was taller than me, broader, but in that moment he looked small. "Tell me the truth," I said. "All of it." He told me everything. How his father built the Kang Empire on blood and fear. How Jihoon inherited it at 23 when his father was murdered. How he'd spent the last 7 years consolidating power, eliminating threats, becoming the monster everyone feared. "I never wanted this life," he said, "but I was good at it. Too good." "Then why didn't you leave?" "Because leaving means dying. In this world, you're either at the top or in the ground." "And me?" I asked. "Where do I fit in your world?" He looked at me like I'd just asked him to solve an impossible equation. "You don't," he said. "That's the problem." "I should let you go," he said. "Give you a new identity, a new life, somewhere far away where no one knows your name." "Is that what you want?" "It's what's best for you." "That's not what I asked." He stood abruptly, pacing to the window. His shoulders were tense, his hands clenched into fists. What I want doesn't matter, he said. It matters to me. He spun around. Why? Because I stopped. The words caught in my throat. Because what, Mina? I took a breath. Because I think I'm falling in love with you. The silence was deafening. He stared at me like I'd just stabbed him. Don't, he said hoarsely. Don't do that. Do what? Love me. His voice cracked. I'm not worth it. That's not your decision to make. Mina, you don't get to decide what I feel, Jihoon. You don't get to tell me I'm wrong for caring about you. You don't know what you're saying. Yes, I do. He crossed the room in 3 strides, grabbed my shoulders. His eyes were wild, desperate. I've killed people, Mina. I've tortured them. I've destroyed families. I'm not a good man. I'm not even a man. I'm a monster. Then why do you look at me like I'm the only thing keeping you human? He froze. Why do you come to my cafe every day at 4:47? I continued. Why do you buy me heaters and drive me home and risk your life to save mine? Because I'm selfish, he said. Because I'm weak. No. I reached up, cupping his face. Because you're still human, and you're terrified of it. His breath hitched, and then he kissed me. It wasn't gentle. It was desperate, hungry, like he was drowning and I was air. His hands tangled in my hair. My fingers gripped his shirt. The world disappeared. There was only him. Only us. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathing hard. I can't protect you if you stay, he whispered against my lips. Then teach me to protect myself. He pulled back, searching my eyes. You don't know what you're asking? Yes, I do. This life, it will destroy you. Then let it. I held his gaze. But don't make me leave. He didn't. The next morning, I woke to the sound of gunfire. I bolted upright, my heart hammering. Jihoon was outside, firing at targets set up in the clearing. I watched from the window as he moved, fluid, precise, lethal. When he finally came inside, I was waiting. Teach me, I said. He frowned. Teach you what? How to survive your world. Mina, you said I don't fit. Fine, then teach me how to. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he handed me a gun. I was terrible at first. My hands shook. I flinched every time I pulled the trigger. I missed every target. But Jihoon was patient. He stood behind me, his hands guiding mine, his voice low and steady in my ear. Breathe, he said. Focus, squeeze, don't pull. I fired. The bullet hit the edge of the target. Better, he said. By the end of the week, I could hit the center. But it wasn't just shooting. He taught me how to read people, how to spot a threat, how to disappear in a crowd. In my world, he said, hesitation gets you killed. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to survive. Even kill? He looked at me. Especially kill. I swallowed hard. I don't know if I can do that. Then pray you never have to. 3 weeks passed. 3 weeks of training, of learning, of falling deeper into a world I didn't understand, and falling deeper in love with a man I shouldn't want. At night, we sat by the fire. He told me stories about his childhood, about his mother, who died when he was 10, about his father, who taught him that love was weakness. Do you believe that? I asked. I used to, he said. And now? He looked at me. Now I think love is the most dangerous thing in the world. Why? Because it makes you vulnerable. And in my world, vulnerability is death. I leaned my head on his shoulder. Then maybe your world is wrong. He kissed the top of my head. Maybe. But the peace didn't last. It never does. I was in the kitchen when I heard the car. Jihoon was outside chopping wood. He heard it too. He dropped the axe and pulled a gun from his waistband. Get inside, he said. Lock the door. Don't come out until I tell you. Ji-hoon! Now, Mina. I ran inside, locked the door, grabbed the gun he'd given me. My hands were shaking. I heard voices, shouting, then gunfire. I pressed myself against the wall, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst. The door exploded inward. A man stepped inside, not Ji-hoon. He smiled when he saw me. There you are, he said in Korean. I raised the gun. Stay back, I said. He laughed. You won't shoot me. Try me. He took a step forward. I pulled the trigger. The recoil knocked me back. The man collapsed, clutching his leg, screaming. I stared at the gun in my hands. I'd just shot someone. Ji-hoon burst through the door. He saw the man on the ground, saw me standing there, shaking. Mina, he said gently, give me the gun. I couldn't move. Mina, look at me. I looked up. His eyes were soft, steady. You did good, he said. You protected yourself. That's all that matters. He took the gun from my hands and pulled me into his chest. I broke. I sobbed into his shirt, my whole body shaking. I know, he murmured. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. There were 5 of them. Ji-hoon killed 4. I shot 1. They found us, Ji-hoon said as he dragged the bodies into the woods. We can't stay here. Where do we go? He looked at me. Somewhere they'll never think to look. Where? He smiled grimly. Into the lion's den. We drove back to the city, back to the heart of Kang territory. You're taking me to your headquarters? I asked. I'm taking you home, he said. This isn't my home. It is now. The Kang estate was a fortress, high walls, armed guards, surveillance cameras everywhere. Ji-hoon led me inside, his hand on the small of my back. Men in suits bowed as we passed. Who is she? One of them whispered. Someone important, Ji-hoon said coldly. Spread the word. Anyone who touches her dies. He took me to his private quarters, a penthouse suite on the top floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. You'll be safe here, he said. Will I? He cupped my face. I swear it. On what? On my life. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stood on the balcony staring at the city lights, wondering how I'd ended up here. A barista, in a Mafia boss's penthouse, with blood on her hands. Regret it yet? Ji-hoon's voice came from behind me. I turned. He was leaning against the doorframe watching me. Every second, I said. He flinched. But I'd do it again, I added. He crossed to me. Why? Because you're worth it. I'm not. Stop telling me what you're worth, Ji-hoon. I'll decide that for myself. He smiled. A real smile. Rare and beautiful. You're going to get yourself killed, he said. Probably. And you're okay with that? I looked up at him. As long as I'm with you. He kissed me. Slow. Deep. Like he was memorizing the taste of me. I love you, he whispered against my lips. I froze. He pulled back, his eyes searching mine. I love you, Mina. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. I'm sorry I'm not the man you deserve. But I love you. And I'll spend the rest of my life trying to keep you safe. Tears streamed down my face. I love you too, I whispered. But love, I was learning, wasn't enough. Not in his world. The next morning, everything changed. I woke to shouting. Ji-hoon was gone. I threw on clothes and ran downstairs. The main hall was chaos. Men shouting in Korean. Guns being loaded. I grabbed one of the guards. What's happening? The Choi family, he said. They've declared war. My blood ran cold. Where's Ji-hoon? He's gone to meet them. Alone? The guard hesitated. He said it was the only way to end this. No, I ran. I found him in the warehouse district. standing in the middle of an empty lot, surrounded by men with guns, and across from him, a man I didn't recognize. Older, scarred, smiling. Kang Ji-hoon, the man said. The devil of soul. Finally we meet. Choi Min-ho, Ji-hoon said. I'd say it's a pleasure, but we both know I'd be lying. Min-ho laughed. I like you, Ji-hoon. It's a shame I have to kill you. You can try. Oh, I will. But first... Min-ho's eyes flicked past Ji-hoon, to me. Ah, he said. The girl? I was hoping she'd show up. Ji-hoon's entire body went rigid. She has nothing to do with this, he said. She has everything to do with this. Min-ho smiled. You see, Ji-hoon, I don't just want your territory. I want to break you. And the best way to break a man... He raised his gun, pointed it at me, is to take away the thing he loves most. Ji-hoon moved. Faster than I'd ever seen him move, he threw himself in front of me. The gunshot echoed, and Ji-hoon collapsed into my arms. Blood. So much blood. It soaked through his shirt, warm and dark, spreading across my hands as I pressed them against the wound in his chest. Ji-hoon, I gasped. Ji-hoon, stay with me. His eyes were unfocused, his breathing shallow. Mina, he whispered, run. I'm not leaving you. Run. No. Around us, chaos erupted. Gunfire, shouting. Ji-hoon's men swarming the lot, returning fire at the Choi family. But I couldn't see any of it. All I could see was the man dying in my arms. Someone help, I screamed. Help him! Hands grabbed me, pulled me back. Miss, we need to get him to the car. Don't touch me. I fought against them. Don't you dare. Mina. Ji-hoon's voice was barely audible. Let them. I looked down at him. His face was pale. His lips were turning blue. I love you. I choked out. Do you hear me? I love you. So you don't get to die. He smiled weakly. Bossy. Ji-hoon. His eyes closed. No. No, Ji-hoon. They rushed him to a private clinic. Not a hospital. Hospitals meant questions, police, exposure. In Ji-hoon's world, you bled in secret. I sat in the waiting room, my hand still covered in his blood, staring at the white walls. A man in a suit approached me. Older, gray hair, sharp eyes. Miss Mina, he said in accented English. I'm Park Jae-sung, Ji-hoon's second in command. I didn't respond. The doctor is doing everything he can, Jae-sung continued, but the bullet hit close to his heart. The next few hours are critical. Is he going to die? My voice sounded hollow, distant. Jae-sung hesitated. I don't know. I laughed. It came out broken. You don't know. The great Kang family, all this power, all this money, and you don't know if he's going to live or die. Miss Mina, get out. I understand you're upset. Get out. He left. I buried my face in my hands and sobbed. Hours passed. Or maybe minutes. Time had stopped meaning anything. Finally, the doctor emerged. Blood on his scrubs. Exhaustion in his eyes. He's alive, he said. I couldn't breathe. The surgery was successful. We removed the bullet. But he lost a lot of blood. The next 24 hours will determine if... Can I see him? The doctor hesitated. He's unconscious. He won't know you're there. I don't care. Can I see him? He nodded. Ji-hoon looked small in the hospital bed. Tubes and wires connected to machines that beeped steadily. His chest rose and fell in shallow breaths. I pulled a chair beside him and took his hand. It was cold. You're an idiot, I whispered. You know that? A complete idiot. He didn't respond. You don't get to do that. You don't get to throw yourself in front of a bullet and leave me alone. My voice cracked. I need you, Ji-hoon. I need you to wake up. I need you to look at me with those stupid... intense eyes, and tell me everything's going to be okay. Silence. Please, I begged. Please don't leave me. I pressed my forehead against his hand and cried. I didn't leave his side. Not when Jae-sung came to give me updates on the Choi family. Not when the nurses tried to make me eat. Not when my body screamed for sleep. I stayed. On the second day, his fingers twitched. I sat up, my heart pounding. Ji-hoon? His eyelids fluttered. Ji-hoon, can you hear me? Slowly, painfully, his eyes opened. He looked at me, confused, disoriented. Then recognition dawned. Mina, he rasped. I burst into tears. You idiot. You complete idiot. He smiled weakly. Miss me? I'm going to kill you myself. Get in line. I laughed through my tears and kissed his forehead. Don't ever do that again. Can't promise that. Ji-hoon. As long as you're in danger, he said quietly, I'll always put myself between you and the bullet. That's not romantic. That's stupid. Maybe. He squeezed my hand, but it's the truth. He recovered slowly, too slowly for his liking. I need to get back out there, he said on the 5th day, trying to sit up. I pushed him back down. You need to rest. The Choi family is being handled by Jae-sung. You have people for this, Ji-hoon. I'm the boss. You should be healing. I crossed my arms. Doctor's orders, and mine. He stared at me. Are you seriously trying to boss me around? Yes. Problem? A slow smile spread across his face. I think I like it. Good. Because you're stuck with me. His smile faded. He reached up, cupping my face. Mina. What happened out there? I know. Choi Minho was aiming for you. He wanted to kill you to hurt me. I know. This is only going to get worse. The Choi family won't stop. And there are others. Rivals. Enemies. People who will use you to get to me. I know. Then why are you still here? I leaned down, my forehead touching his. Because I love you. And I'm not running. You should. Too bad. He pulled me down into a kiss. Gentle. Tender. Like I was something precious. When we broke apart, his eyes were wet. I don't deserve you, he whispered. I know, I said. But you're stuck with me anyway. 2 weeks later, Ji-hoon was back on his feet. Against doctor's orders. Against my orders. But I knew better than to argue. He called a meeting with his inner circle. I sat beside him in the conference room, surrounded by men in suits who looked at me like I was an anomaly, a barista, in the Kang family war room. The Choi family has been making moves, Jae-sung said, pulling up a map on the screen. They've taken 3 of our territories in the south. They're cutting off our supply lines. Then we take them back, Ji-hoon said coldly. It's not that simple. They've fortified their positions. A direct assault would be suicide. Then we don't go direct. Ji-hoon leaned forward. We go through their allies, cut off their support, isolate them. That will take time. Then we take time. One of the men spoke up. With all due respect, sir, we don't have time. The longer we wait, the weaker we look. I don't care how we look, Ji-hoon said. I care about winning. And what about her? The man nodded toward me. She's a liability. The room went silent. Ji-hoon's expression didn't change, but the temperature dropped 10 degrees. Say that again, he said softly. The man paled. You just meant that the woman I love is a liability. Ji-hoon stood slowly. Is that what you meant? Sir, Get out. Sir. Get. Out. The man fled. Ji-hoon looked around the room. Anyone else have concerns about Mina? Silence. Good. He sat back down, wincing slightly. Now, let's talk strategy. After the meeting, I cornered him in his office. You didn't have to do that, I said. Yes, I did. Ji-hoon, he was right. I am a liability. I don't know your world. I don't know the rules. You're the only thing keeping me sane. He crossed to me, his hands framing my face. You're not a liability, Mina. You're my reason. Your reason for what? For everything. His thumb brushed my cheek. Before you, I was just surviving, going through the motions. But you make me want to be better, to build something worth protecting. Jihoon, I know it's selfish. I know I should let you go, but I can't. His voice broke. I can't lose you. I kissed him. Hard. Desperate. Then don't. I whispered against his lips. Don't lose me, and I won't lose you. But the universe had other plans. It happened 3 days later. I was in the penthouse reading when Jae-sung burst in. Where's Jihoon? He demanded. He went to check on the Southern Territories. Why? Jae-sung's face went pale. It's a trap. My blood turned to ice. What? The Choi family. They leaked false information. They wanted him to go there. They're waiting for him. How many men does he have with him? 5. And how many do they have? Jae-sung didn't answer. He didn't have to. We need to go, I said, standing. Now. Miss Mina, it's too dangerous. I don't care. I grabbed the gun Jihoon had given me. Take me to him. He'll kill me if anything happens to you. He'll die if we don't go. Jae-sung stared at me. Then he nodded. Let's go. We arrived at the warehouse 20 minutes later. Gunfire echoed from inside. Stay in the car, Jae-sung ordered. Not a chance. Miss Mina, I'm going in. With or without you. He cursed in Korean. Fine, but stay behind me. We moved through the warehouse, guns drawn, bodies littered the floor. Jihoon's men, Choi's men, and then I saw him. Jihoon, pinned down behind a stack of crates, blood on his shoulder. 3 men closing in. I didn't think. I raised my gun and fired. 1 man dropped. Jihoon's head snapped toward me. His eyes widened. Mina, get down. I dove as bullets tore through the air where I'd been standing. Jae-sung returned fire, covering me. Jihoon used the distraction to take out the other 2 men. Then he was running toward me, pulling me behind cover. What the hell are you doing here? He shouted. Saving your life. You could have been killed. So could you. He stared at me. Then he kissed me. Hard. Desperate. You're insane, he said. I learn from the best. We made it out. Barely. Jihoon's shoulder was bleeding. I had a graze on my arm. Jae-sung had taken a bullet to the leg. But we were alive. This ends now, Jihoon said as we drove back. I'm done playing defense. What are you going to do? I asked. He looked at me. His eyes were cold, determined. I'm going to end the Choi family. The plan was simple, brutal, but simple. Jihoon would call for a meeting, a truce negotiation, neutral ground, and then he'd kill Choi Minho. It's a suicide mission, Jae-sung said. It's the only way, Jihoon replied. Let me go with you. No, I need you here. To protect Mina. Jihoon? I started. No. He turned to me. You're not coming. This is non-negotiable. You can't just... Mina. He took my hands. If something happens to me, Jae-sung will get you out. New identity, new life. You'll be safe. I don't want to be safe. I want to be with you. And I want you alive. He kissed my forehead. Please. Let me do this. Tears streamed down my face. Come back to me. I will. Promise. He hesitated. I promise. It was a lie. We both knew it. He left at dawn. I watched from the window as his car disappeared into the city. Jae-sung stood beside me. He'll come back. You don't believe that? No, he admitted. But I want to. Hours passed. I paced the penthouse, checked my phone, waited. Finally, it rang. Unknown number. I answered. Hello? Mina? Jihoon's voice, strained, weak. Jihoon, are you okay? Where are you? I need you to listen to me very carefully. My heart stopped. What's wrong? Choi Min-ho is dead, but he had a contingency plan. He sent men to the penthouse. They're coming for you. How long do I have? 10 minutes, maybe less. Then I'll run. No. You'll fight. Jihoon? You're stronger than you think, Mina. You've proven that. Now prove it again. I'm scared. I know. But I'm coming for you. I swear. Just hold on. The line went dead. I turned to Jae-sung. They're coming. He nodded grimly. Then we make our stand. They came like a storm, 10 men, armed, trained. Jae-sung and I barricaded ourselves in the penthouse. When they breach, he said, aim for center mass. Don't hesitate. I won't. The door exploded inward, and hell broke loose. I fired until my hands went numb. Jae-sung fought like a demon beside me, but there were too many. One of them grabbed me from behind. I screamed, thrashing. He dragged me toward the window. Kang Jihoon sends his regards. A gunshot. The man collapsed. I spun around. Jihoon stood in the doorway. Blood-soaked, battered, but alive. Get away from her, he said. The remaining men raised their guns. Jihoon moved like death itself. I'd seen him fight before. But this was different. This was a man with nothing left to lose. In 30 seconds it was over. Bodies on the floor. Silence. Jihoon crossed to me, his hands cupping my face. Are you hurt? I shook my head, unable to speak. He pulled me into his chest. It's over. It's over. Is it? I whispered. Is it really over? He pulled back, looking into my eyes. The Choi family is gone. Their allies have scattered. For now. Yes. It's over. For now. For now, he agreed. 3 months later. The cafe was rebuilt. New tables, new espresso machine, same corner booth. I stood behind the counter, wiping down the same surfaces, pretending everything was normal. The bell chimed. I looked up. Jihoon stood in the doorway. Charcoal coat, dark hair, eyes like black coffee. He didn't smile. Americano, he said. No sugar. I smiled. Coming right up. When I set the cup in front of him, our fingers brushed. Just like the first time. Rough day? I asked. He looked at me. Really looked at me. Not anymore, he said. He left a $20 bill and walked to the corner booth. I watched him sit. Watched him stare out the window. And I knew. This was our normal now. A barista and a mafia boss. A cafe and a war room. Love and danger. It wasn't perfect. But it was ours. That night, in his penthouse, I lay in his arms. Do you regret it? He asked quietly. Everything that happened? I thought about it. The fear, the blood, the bullets. No, I said. Do you? Never. Even though I'm a liability? He smiled. Especially because you're a liability. I hit his chest lightly. Jerk. He caught my hand, bringing it to his lips. My liability. Your liability. I agreed. But peace, I was learning, was always temporary. 6 months later, I found the letter. It was hidden in Jihoon's desk. I wasn't snooping. I was looking for a pen. But when I saw my name on the envelope, I couldn't help myself. I opened it. Mina. If you're reading this, I'm dead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I dragged you into my world. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you. I'm sorry I loved you when I had no right to. There's money in an account under your name, enough to start over. Jae-sung has instructions to get you out of the country. Go somewhere safe. Somewhere far away from this life. Forget me. Live. I love you. Jihoon. My hands shook. What are you doing? I spun around. Jihoon stood in the doorway, his expression unreadable. What is this? I held up the letter. He sighed. Insurance? Insurance? In case something happens to me, I needed to know you'd be taken care of. You wrote me a goodbye letter. Yes? You planned for your own death. Yes. I stared at him. Do you really think I'd just leave? Start over? Forget you? I'd want you to. Well, too bad. I crossed to him. Because I'm not going anywhere. If you die, I die. Mina, no. You don't get to make that decision for me. We're in this together. Life or death. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he pulled me into his arms. You're going to be the death of me, he whispered. Probably, I said, but at least we'll go together. And we did. Not in death, but in life. In a cafe that smelled like coffee and hope, in a penthouse that overlooked a city of ghosts, in stolen moments between wars, in whispered promises in the dark. We built a life, dangerous, imperfect, beautiful. And every day at 4:47 he walked into my cafe. And every day I fell in love with him all over again.